Greetings! The objective of this video is to demonstrate how to navigate the configuration portal within the WebAdmit system. Let's dive in. When you sign into the system, you'll initially be greeted by your OPRESCAS dashboard, and in order to ask configuration portal, you'll click Cast Configuration Portal. In the event that the window does not pop up in a new tab, odds are you have a pop-up blocker in place that you'll have to turn off. On that note, we've already disabled our pop-up blocker, and we're going to visit OPRESCAS and make sure you identify the current cycle that you wish to edit, in this case 2019 and 2020. We're going to select our facility, and we're going to add a program from scratch so that we have a clean canvas. Let's go ahead and click Add Program, and it'll give you the option either copy or add. Click the plus button one more time to create a brand new program. Your residency program title should always be descriptive in nature. So if you say something like Summer Res, they don't know if it's orthotics, prosthetics, research, duration. A better title would be Summer 12-month Orthotic Residency Clinical Track. This is what the candidates will see. WebAdmit name is a name that you can use internally. So if you did want to use a shorter title, for example, Summer 01, that is fine. You'll enter your city and state as typical. And here are a few settings that I often get questions about. Open date is the date that you want candidates to be able to see and begin applying for the program. In this case, we are setting this up for individuals to start applying during the fall of 2019 to start the following summer. So let's go ahead and select our date. And the deadline is the very last day that you'll accept applications. So in this case, we want to get all of our applications in no later than the last day of January 2020. You can show the deadline to candidates if you would like. You can actually have a rolling admission as well, which would allow them to continue to submit applications until you find someone that you feel is ideal. In this case, we'll show our deadline. The residency start date discusses the specific time that the individual would begin working. So in this case, we start July 1st, which Summer 1 would apply in that case. If you have a residency that starts in the middle of August or later, Summer 2 would be appropriate. Otherwise, the seasons work well. Winter is January through March, spring is April through June, fall is typically October through December. You get the idea. What we're going to do next is identify our program type as well. And remember, we were already very specific in identifying the program, and we have already noted that this is an orthotic clinical track program. One option that you do have available is if your facility says, we let the resident pick clinical or research, you want to choose the second option, clinical and or research. So we have that information in. The only thing that I forgot, you'll notice I can't hit the save button, is our start year. And this is for individuals starting in 2020. Let's go ahead and click our save button, and I have a brand new placeholder available. Your newly created program will automatically appear at the bottom of your program list. Please note that there will be a placeholder listed for at least one program if you're brand new to the OPRESCAS WebAdmit system, or multiple in the event you had multiple programs. The institution that we're demoing here had 4 programs previously. Let's dive in and edit the newly created program. If we click Details, we can now see the dates and information that we've entered are all very clearly laid out, and there'll be a unique ID number assigned and a program ID number assigned automatically by the WebAdmit system. So don't worry, you didn't have to come up with that. Remember, our open date is the date that candidates have the ability to start applying, and our deadline is the last day that candidates will have the opportunity to apply. Start date implies the actual relative month and day that the individual would start. Remember, you're picking a season. You're not necessarily picking an actual date, so there is some flexibility there. As well as our start year, which in this case was 2020. The system will always create a homepage or branding for you, and when we want to view what our homepage or branding looks like, just click the little eyeball here underneath Preview and be prepared to not be impressed. All it will include is the text name of your organization and the basic description that you have. On that note, candidates are going to be looking for an awful lot more information than that. This isn't going to be a very attractive residency site versus something that actually will tell you who do you talk to if there's any questions about the application process, and how many locations do I rotate through, and do you have any specialties like upper limb prosthetics, for example. All that information you can put in here. Let me show you how. I'm going to close my preview window really quick, and we're going to go to the top where it says branding. And at the very top of branding, we have the chance to edit instructions. What I'm going to do now is say, thank you for your interest. We host a minimum of 2 residency positions per year and have a diverse patient population. If you have any questions, please do not hesitate to contact our program director, Chris Robinson. And you could even take that next step and put in your email address if you would like as well. Go ahead and click your Save button. And now the text is posted there. So if we were to go back to our program details page and click our little preview eyeball, now we don't have a very pretty logo, but at minimum, we have basic information that candidates are looking for. Make sure you check out our other video that actually will walk you through the top 10 things candidates are looking for when applying to a residency site. Next up, let's go back to branding. And again, we can see we have our text here. If you did want to enter a custom graphic, you would do that by clicking Edit Header, and you'll have the chance to upload an image. Remember, that image needs to be exactly 270 pixels tall by 900 pixels wide. Don't worry, I'll actually get you a short tutorial on how to do all those graphics edits online inside of your browser. It's pretty easy. Let's go ahead and click the Cancel button here for the moment and not worry about editing it. If we go to our next tab up here that says Editor, you'll see that we have multiple options here. We have evaluations, questions, and documents. Evaluations are instructor evaluation forms. So the school that the resident is currently attending or attended in the past, you can have the instructor fill out a standardized form. Don't worry, you won't actually have to create your own questionnaire. So if we go ahead and click on that, we've already turned on that option. Let's go to evaluations here really quick, and you could say to the applicant, please get a minimum of 2 evaluations. And what you can do here is set that number. I need 2 evals, but don't you dare send me more than 3 because I don't want to read them necessarily. And you can identify that the minimum required must be completed for it to be submitted for review. And I recommend you choose no, because you don't want to hold up an application because an instructor is dragging behind on submitting the actual eval form. Let's go ahead and click our Save button, and we've done everything necessary to turn on instructor evals. The next option you have here is questions. While I recognize that everybody likes to have an interview process tied to this, face-to-face or even a phone interview, you can actually add questions of your own. For example, answer the following questions. And we could start off by adding a question block. So you have to have somewhere to put your question. And we could say general info. Description is optional. I'm going to leave it blank just for demonstration purposes. And we could say add a question. And we can even make it required if we want. Tell me what first interested you in the O&P profession. And you have to choose your question type. And this is something that you really don't want to have a multiple choice answer. An essay is probably a good idea. And you could even limit them to the number of characters and say, you know what? Don't make it too long. 500 characters, and that's letters, spaces, or numbers, max. You can go ahead and click my Add button, and now we have our question in play. And last, but certainly not least, one that I find is underutilized, but something you really want to take advantage of, is documents. Let's go ahead and click on our documents. And before we do that, I have to save, apparently. There we go. Click Documents, and odds are you want a resume, definitely request that. And if you'd like, you can make it required. And then a lot of organizations like to have a personal statement. Alternatively, you could actually say, I would like a cover letter. And you may go, wait a sec, where's the cover letter option? Just click Other and say, please submit a copy of your personalized cover letter using the Other option. And you've told them what to use Other for. Go ahead and click the Save button real fast. And you'll see now we have instructor evals turned on, questions, and documents. And how do we double check that? Let's go back to program details one more time. So you'll remember when we first signed in, we only had one eyeball, the eyeball next to homepage/branding. And when we clicked on it, it was underwhelming. But now we have text and some basic information. There's probably a lot more information candidates want, and I'll make a separate video just to show you all that info. But you'll notice we have additional eyeballs we can preview as well, like our documents. And you'll see candidates can now upload their resume or other. And you'll remember the instructions we gave. Please submit a copy of your personalized cover letter. Well, that's there too. We also have evaluations turned on. And this is the view that the candidates will have. And when the candidate clicks that Add Evaluation button, what it'll do is it'll ask them for their instructor's email address, and it'll be automatically emailed to the instructor. You don't have to do anything. It's completely automated by the WebAdmit OPRESCAS system. And last but not least, questions. And you'll remember we had that one question. Tell me what first interested you in the O&P profession. And make sure you do it in 500 characters or less. So now we've actually set up our application form to have some meaningful and useful information. And once you're content, after clicking all of your preview windows, that that's exactly what you want, click the Submit for Review button, and it'll say, are you sure you want to submit for review? Say yes. If you're confident that that's exactly what you want candidates to see, the dates are right and the information is there. And that is when the magic can begin and candidates actually can see your application. I hope this brief tutorial was helpful. Thanks again for your time.